Hello, America and the world. Welcome to another episode of Life After Lockup. This is a program that is strategically designed to show you, the viewing audience, and the society that is out there a different view of inmates once they've been released, once they are back on the street, just to let you know that there is a different side. I know a lot of times you see a lot of the lockup programs, law and order, you see a lot of the cops program, and you see only one side of the criminal justice system. And this is a side here that is kind of hidden to the public, and we want to just reveal that side to you. There is life after lockup, and we want to just interview people that have gone through the system and talk about the life that they have now. And before we get started, I want to also let you know that you can view this program anytime on Paducah2.org. And if you have any questions or you want to be a part of this program, you can dial me, Anthony E. Walton, at 575-3823. You can email me at lifecommunities@bellsouth.net. And we're going to get right started with our program, and we are excited today to have our guest with us. His name is Brother Jim Trimble. Brother Trimble, God bless you, man. Thank you for being here. And some of the people already know who you are, but I just kind of want to, some things I guess I don't know about you. What happened maybe that ended you up maybe in prison? How long were you there? And how long you been out? Just kind of give us a little brief detail about that, if you can.
All through my young adult life and in my juvenile years, I'd had brushes with the law through bad choices that I had made, and I'd went first time to prison in 1987, stayed 2.5 years, got out, stayed on the streets about 6 months, and went back and got out again in 1994, and I've been out since then.
Okay.
Serving the Lord. And
Good. Let me ask you, with that other little spot there when you was out for 6 months, what happened there? That you just didn't get a real good grip then, or?
Actually, I did not. I just went back to my same old behavior, same old geographical neighborhood, same friends, and just didn't have a real good view of what it looked like independent living.
Okay, and so and that's important because we bring that up a lot in here. You can't, if you want to make a change, you got to change people, places, and things, and you got to change some things about what you're doing. So what happened when you went in the next time?
When I went in the second time, basically it's still the same way. Didn't have any people skills. Didn't use Department of Corrections to further my education or vocational skills. I just basically done my time and got out.
Okay, and this was the second time?
It was.
Okay, yes. So what caused the change?
Jesus, caused my change. Started getting involved in local church.
This was after you got out?
It was.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And my wife was going to church and started getting involved there, and he had done a work in me, do a work through me.
Okay.
And, he had given me compassion for the people group that I had came out of.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You said something important just a few minutes ago. You said you didn't take advantage of the Department of Corrections. What do you mean by that?
They offer education. They offer vocational skills that you can draw from in there. I just basically sat in there and done my time and worked out on the weight pile and just waited until my parole hearing came up.
And that's important too, because a lot of times you were fortunate, you were blessed in the sense that where you ended up getting a change after you came out. Now some people start changing on the inside, and that's what kind of helps them, give them that momentum once they do get out. But you said something that's so important because of the opportunities that are there. Some people don't take advantage of them because there are in some prisons the opportunities to help you to learn some things, and you didn't take advantage of it. You worked out on the weight pile, which is what a lot of people do, and you were blessed when you got out to where you began to go to church and things of that nature. And Were you married before you went to prison? Or?
I was, and she had divorced me. She couldn't tolerate my behavior, and I didn't expect her to, you know. So she was serving God while I was locked up, and actually I got out, had all intention of just getting her back, getting her in my well, but I'd seen the love and joy on the faces of the people in church, and the Lord just broke me.
Good, good. And that's what is needed a lot of times, is people needing somebody to kind of help nurture them into that changed life. And so you said you got out the last time in '94?
Yes, sir.
And so you've been out since then.
Yes.
And I know if anybody's watching this program, they know you through the Lifeline Ministries. And how did that come about? How did you start that?
Actually, the church, my local church that I was involved with and still involved with, they had released me to start doing prison ministry. So I'd go down to jail and I'd visit with them. And
that here in Paducah?
Yes, in Paducah. And the Lord had spoke to me one day and said, "Are you just going to leave them in there?" And I said, "No, Lord, but I don't know what to do." You know, I came out of prison with 3 pair of pants and 3 shirts. I left everything I owned after that time, so He made it available for me to start using on an aftercare basis for those that was released to have an hour to a group a week. So.
Okay, and where'd you have that at the church?
I had it at New Covenant Church in the
okay.
fellowship hall over there. The pastor loaned me the school room.
And this was so once they got out,
yes,
they would do that. Okay, and from there, because Lifeline is a big ministry now. You got the place out there where they stay, and how did all of that come about? This is interesting.
Actually, the local newspaper had done an article on me on my life, where I came from, and the gentleman that was had Morning Star mission, his health was failing him, and it was going on a silent auction. He had seen the article, and a local banker had called and wanted to know if we wanted to come look at it. And so myself and some other board members had rode out there and looked at the properties, and the Lord had spoke to us and said this was it. And so we had took ownership of it.
Man, and you know, and I like how you keep saying, you know, the Lord, because that has to be a God venture out there that you guys are doing, and what you're doing for people even now, because a lot of times when I go out to the jail to minister, you guys have groups out there that are studying the Bible, going through classes and things, trying to get them prepared for the outside. And Lifeline Ministries is a place where they can actually get paroled to, right? It
is, yes. We're networking at a state level as well as area states, and the Lord's really been able to use that as a positive tool for those who have made bad choices. It doesn't make us bad people. It's about the people, not the mission. You know?
Right, and just to have that type of avenue for people to go there, because sometimes, and I talk to people all the time, there are a lot of times people don't have anywhere to go. They get released, they have no family, and sometimes they get paroled, maybe here or wherever, and they have nothing. They have maybe just a clothes, like you said, you had 3 pair of pants or whatever. Sometimes people don't have that much, and where do they go? So Lifeline is kind of like it's a lifeline. It's a lifeline for them. It's a place for them to go and find refuge, and that has to be God that have done that. Now let me ask you this: how did because Lifeline is basically for men, right?
We've got a ladies division, is Ladies Living Free as well.
That's what I wanted to mention for, and that is something that is very, very needed, especially when it comes to ex-offenders. One of the things that I've noticed, and I know you probably have too, a lot of times women, when they are released and don't have anywhere to go at all, they have to live with. Sometimes they are forced to live with men and, you know, do things that they normally wouldn't want to do just to have a place to stay. And that Ladies Living Free thing, it's got to be a breath of fresh air for a lot of women that are coming out of jails and prisons.
It is, and we at the ladies facility as well, it's just like the men. It's the same model, same tools. You know, we just want to equip them, just like a carpenter, put tools in their belt where they can apply to their lives, you know.
Okay.
And also implement budgeting skills and work skills, and obviously move them toward independent living.
And that's great. And a lot of them are doing better because of it. And one of the things that we're hoping to get society to do is to lift some of the things that the hindrances. Because sometimes you can't get a job at certain places. Sometimes you can't live in certain places. And with the Lifeline Ministries, with what you have with the men and the women, they can at least go there. What's the longest that they can stay?
We initially start with 180 days with a reentry level available for an additional 180 days. We just gauge each individual as they are, because sometimes clients who have been incarcerated have been told when to eat, sleep, and wake up. They're used to that controlled movement, so it takes a little longer to break that cycle off of them, and just have to walk with them and move them toward that independent living. So we've got to gauge them and assess them individually.
You know, that is so powerful what you're saying. I think a lot of times people don't understand that, like what you just said, when they've been told to eat, when to shower, when to wake up, it becomes a cycle. And to release them and let them out right there in society with that mentality, it could be a danger to themselves and a danger to society. But with something that you're doing with walking with them, helping them to break that cycle, that is so powerful. But then, you know, there's so many people that fall through the cracks because everybody can't go to Lifeline. You know, everybody is not able to get into that ministry, and what happens to them? Those are the ones that sometimes end up maybe going back to prison or something, or end up maybe not quite making it out here. And one of the things, and you might be able to agree with me on this, is that I don't feel like everybody has a criminal mind when they get out of prison.
That's correct.
I feel like that they just don't get the opportunity to do better. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that?
I'm in agreement with that. You know, not everyone has a criminal mind. You know, for myself, I was raised fatherless, and I never had anything imparted to me at a young age. It all became survival, conditioned to be survival, and of means of making it.
Right.
So I think that we as Christian leaders of the community have got to walk beside these people, you know, even when they make mistakes, you know, and impart positive choices to them. Let them see how a godly family operates, even when there's a power of agreement and disagreement, how you work it out, how you interact. And it takes time.
It does. It does, especially when a person goes through the system. Because going through prison, sometimes it dehumanizes you. It sometimes take out the little human parts in you that you had from childhood or whatever. Sometimes it sucks it out of you, and it turns you into something sometimes. And when you come out with that mentality, you need somebody godly that can walk with you and help you. And unfortunately, everybody don't get that kind of help. And then you got some people then that get the help and still don't take advantage of the help. And those are the ones that seem like society elevates, or those are the ones that they magnify. Those that don't quite make it, those that are repeat offenders, those that do the same thing over again, society seems to magnify them instead of magnifying those like you that have come out and made a positive contribution to society. That's a positive thing that you've done. Even with your background, with the things that you came through, you said fatherless. Okay, there are many people that's probably watching this program in the jail system right now that didn't have fathers in their lives, and they've made a lot of bad choices because of that. But here you saying that, hey, if you get on the right track, get God in your life, you can do something positive.
That's correct. I do believe the first and foremost way to healing addictive behaviors, take responsibility for your actions.
Thank you.
You know, be accountable for your actions.
Thank you.
You
Thank
know,
you.
and instead of becoming a taker, become a giver into the community that you've so freely taken from. That's why it's so key and vital for the men and ladies to have vocational community-based programs to give back. You know, I believe it's real key to part of their recovery, and I believe that they will see a different view of it, you know, of giving back to the community where they have taken.
And that is so good. That is so true, because it does give them a different perspective. Because when you're just a taker, you don't really care about people. All you're concerned about is yourself. So when you start giving back, you do have a sense of compassion and love. It brings out that other part of you that nobody has ever seen, and sometimes that you don't even know you have within yourself. To be able to give back, it helps you to be a better person, and then it gives you a sense of accomplishment when you see the results of what you've done. You know, I think everybody likes to feel good about doing something positive. And sometimes when people have been beat down so long, because going through prison, you know, it's a world within itself, and I can't say it enough. It's a world within itself. It's mostly a lot of negative stuff that goes on there, and people they build up something inside them that's negative. And so when they get out, meet somebody like you that's positive, that's pouring in positive things into them, that makes them feel like that, hey, maybe I can make it too. Especially when they see you and you've made accomplishments, that gives people hope. And let me ask you this. I know, you know, it's one word, but how important is hope for a person incarcerated?
Actually, a person needs hope. Apart from hope, it's almost impossible to make it to the end of your time, because the environment is hopelessness.
Right.
And I didn't have the Lord in prison. My hope was to get back with my family. That's what I put my hope in. That's what was my driving force at that time. You know, so it's key to have hope. You know, to believe in yourself. People with addictive behaviors are the hardest people, the hardest critics on themselves, of shame and guilt and condemnation. You know, so they have trouble forgiving themselves. You know, and that's where it's got to start.
Yes.
You know, you got to forgive yourself before you can move forward.
That is some strong words right there. Those are strong words, because as a matter of fact, last week we was talking to somebody about the exact same thing. Hard to forgive yourself. Sometimes we can forgive other people, but we can't forgive ourselves because of the shame and all those things. And once a person once they can forgive themselves, like you said, they can move on. And hope kind of gives a person some type of incentive to want to try. And even in your situation with, and I know, me being an ex-offender, it's the same type of mentality. Sometimes you remember some of the stuff that you've done, you know, some of the people you've hurt, and some of the things that mistakes that you've made. And even now, like, I've been out of prison for 22 years now, and I still remember some of the stuff that I've done, the damages that I've done to people. And sometimes, if it wasn't for my knowing that I've been forgiven by God, I would still hold on to some of that stuff sometimes. And I think sometimes, you know, I could go somewhere and sit down and just like, man, I'm not moving anymore. I'm feeling so bad about myself. But knowing that, hey, God has forgiven me, so I might as well get up. It's over with. I'm through with it. I'm moving on. When you can have some type of hope, some type of future of knowing that you can be a better person, you know, that's the thing right there that hopefully this program is generating. Knowing that, showing people that they can do better, that they don't have to live in the past. That they don't have to live in the past. And you are a prime example of somebody that has gotten up out of the ashes of life, you know, with no father, forgiving yourself, taking responsibilities of yourself. That's a powerful thing that you said. You got to take responsibility for your own actions. You're not the victim. You might have victimized. So you got to take responsibility for that. And can you talk just a little bit more about that? I mean, how did you come to grips with that?
It came through a supernatural work of the Spirit of God, who revealed my heart to me, my heart condition, how how inward focused I was, how selfish I was. See, chemical and substance dependency is just the outward result of the inward issue. You know, so I had a lot of anger stuff down, which was a trigger with me from the choices I had made in life. You know, so I came to a place of repentance for my actions. The Lord honored that. He cleansed me of that. He gave me the grace to speak freely about that.
Good.
To give it away to those who are struggling in that.
Good, and that's important. You keep saying a lot of good nuggets that I'm jumping off of. To be able, once you get delivered from something and you are able to face your own demons or your own problems, you are then able to freely speak to somebody else about your own shortcomings. And what that does, that speaking helps to free you and also helps to help somebody else.
That's correct.
And that's powerful, because we have a lot of people in this city, in this community, that probably won't come on this program because they don't want anybody to know their past. They probably are around people right now in maybe high society or whatever that they have a past, but they're ashamed of it. They don't want anybody to know about it. But they don't realize how important that would be for somebody to know where they've come from, because somebody does need to know that they can change. You know, and being able to admit that you are not all that, and saying, hey, I had some issues, but God has delivered me from that. Because what does it do? It gives glory to God, not glory to you or the system, but it gives glory to God. And these are the things that people need to know. And it is like people like you that helps give people that kind of confidence, that kind of hope. If he can do it, guess what? I can too. If he can do it without a father in his life, because a father is a powerful tool for a young man. If you can make those transitions without a father in your life, then you know I can too. And people are looking at you and I, and we're just regular men, you know, with past, with history that are not quite good, but look at where we are now.
Yes, and I can only give the glory to God,
Right.
Because He has done such a major work in my life to be able to give back to this community. I love this community, and I love networking with the agencies that's in place here, you know, to make a difference in this community, for men to be accountable husbands, accountable fathers, and productive citizens, and the same for the women. You know, it's a community effort. You know, we
Yes.
have got to come together for the common good of us.
For the common good.
Yeah.
And all these things you are saying, it is what is needed. And society needs to know that we are trying to get there, you know, to be responsible husbands, fathers, and good for the community, not menaces to society, but we're trying to help the community to grow. And these are things that need to be elevated or need to be magnified. You know, you don't hear about a lot about what you're doing. You don't hear a lot about the things that are going on positive that ex-offenders are doing. You know, we don't hear about that. And these are the things that need to be projected so that people can open up more opportunities for us. And I think one of the reasons why opportunities are not open as much as they should be is because society only gets the negative part. If that article hadn't come out with you in the paper, then would Lifeline be where it is right now? But because the paper was willing to interview you, to tell your story, it touched somebody else's heart, they were able to see something that could be done, and boom, there it is. More things need to be broadcast about what ex-offenders are doing, the lifestyle that they're trying to live. And let me say this before our time runs out, and maybe you can help me with this. Do you feel that there are some society blockages that the society kind of keeps us back, in a sense, in certain areas?
I feel like there's a lack of understanding of those who have went through the penal system's true heart, because I feel like 95% of all crimes are committed under chemical or substance dependencies Another
Okay.
5% is through, sexual acts of violence. So I think it's a lack of knowledge of understanding the person.
Okay, you mean from society's standpoint?
Yes.
Now that I agree with, and with that lack of knowledge, they create laws to keep us sometimes from achieving certain things, like jobs, like certain places to stay, and things of that nature. And I think because of that lack of understanding, those boundaries are there, and it's difficult for us to cross those boundaries or to have total success. And you and I are probably different, maybe because God has opened up opportunities for us, and but there are some people that are held back because of the laws that the society has placed out there, and that hinders us because of that lack of understanding. And because of that, it is, and I've never really looked at it from a lack of understanding. I've basically felt like that's what it is. That's why this program is here, because they don't understand what we really need from them. And let me ask you another question. This is because I haven't done it, but have you gotten a pardon or anything like that, or what?
I have. Yes.
Okay. Now I haven't done that, and somebody asked me if I should. And can you tell me what the benefits of that is?
Well, actually, it gives you liberty of to go into government agencies.
Gives you more access.
It does, yes.
To things.
Yes, it does.
Okay, and now, I guess I didn't feel like it was necessary for me. Again, my particular crime that I went to prison for was 1979. Okay, that's the crime that I went to prison for. So I'm still considered an ex-felon by record. Now, the problem that I have, and I don't mind saying it, the problem that I have is that you can forgive my crime, but you can't forgive me. It's like you're still the same person. Not the same person that you were then, but God has changed you. That thing, whatever it was, is still there. But because you went through the legal part to get it expunged or whatever, you're able to do certain things. I'm in a place where certain things I cannot do because they're still there. But I mean, I'm okay with that because I don't really want to do a whole lot of things. But it's and I'm just kind of a little bit, concerned about that. And I guess it's an individual thing because
I feel like that the Lord liberates, and the doors He opens, nobody can shut, and the doors He shuts, nobody can open.
That's it.
So on paper isn't always the character you're dealing with.
True. That's exactly the point.
Yeah.
That I'm, and because a lot of times people look at my record and they see me, but it's really not me. And that's the whole point. And that's the thing that I think more people need to understand. We are not the crime that we've committed. That is not always us. And for them to see us as human beings who need an opportunity, who need another chance. And this is the end of our program. And I thank you so much, man, for being here. And thank you for watching Life After Lockup. And join us again for the next episode of Life After Lockup. God bless you, and you have a marvelous day.